Reading skill, or reading and speaking, scanning, is a core component from the skill training portion and takes place immediately after reading and speaking skimming. This component is broken down into two parts, the reading and the comprehension questions, and this video will focus on the reading. During this part, students identify and confirm understanding of the main elements of the story, which help in comprehending the overall story. To prepare for this component, you will need the storybook. To teach or simulate this component, you will need the storybook. This component will be simulated during training.
Okay guys, let's go ahead and go on to guided reading. The first thing we want to do is look at the title and subtitle. Can you read that for us, Sharon?
Excuse me, is there a bullfrog in here, or did you just burp?
Very good. Let's look at the phrase, excuse me. Now, when do we say excuse me, Megan?
When we want someone to move.
Okay, good. And when else, Sharon?
When we do something rude.
Okay, good. Now let's go ahead and look at the subtitle. What animal are they talking about, Megan?
A bullfrog.
Good. And what sound does a bullfrog make?
A loud sound.
Very good. And where does the sound come from, Sharon?
The mouth.
The mouth. Okay. Now, if you remember from our preview, what loud sound is similar that comes from our mouth, Sharon?
Burp.
Very good. Okay, so now that we looked at the title and subtitle, let's look at the picture. Where are we in this picture, Megan?
A class.
Okay, good. And what is the girl doing?
Covering her mouth.
And why do you think that she's doing that?
Because maybe she burped.
Okay, good. And let's look at the students. How do they feel, Sharon?
Happy.
And how did you know that?
They're smiling.
Very good. So now that we looked at the title and the picture, let's go ahead and look at the passage. But before we read, I want you guys to go ahead and number the lines on the first page. Also, what are some things that we should look for when we read, Sharon?
Plot, vocabulary, pronouns, and transitions.
Very good. So I want you guys to make sure that you guys are looking out for these when we're reading. Let's go ahead and begin. Can you read me lines 1 through 5, Megan?
You're standing in front of your class. You open your mouth to read your report.
Okay, so let's go ahead and answer some questions about what we just read. Where are you standing, Sharon?
In front of the class.
Good, and why are we standing there?
To read your report.
Very good. Now, what is that transition we see there, Megan?
But.
Good, let's go ahead and circle that transition. And what type of transition is but?
Contrast.
Good. So, what are we going to read about next?
Something different than reading the report.
Very good. And what happens that is different, Sharon?
No words come out.
Very good. Let's go ahead and move on. What is the next transition that we see, Sharon?
Instead.
Good. I want you guys to go ahead and circle that transition. And what type of transition is instead?
Contrast.
Good. So what are we going to read about, Sharon?
What comes out instead of words.
Very good. And what comes out, Megan?
A long, loud burp.
Very good. Let's go ahead and put a triangle around the word burp. If you remember from our vocabulary, what is a burp, Sharon?
Strange noise coming from the mouth.
Very good. Okay, let's go ahead and continue reading. Sharon, can you read me the next 5 lines?
Sure. Oh,
Okay, so now that we finished guided reading, I want you guys to go ahead and read the rest on your own. And if you can, answer the scanning questions. And we'll go over them together as a class. Okay?